So this is specifically if you were not able to complete the research folders from last semester. Um, then you want to be using this as your resource to get our three sources because we are still writing an essay. We're going to be doing that next week. And we have some activities to do this week about annotation. So you need to do this stage before you can do the annotation. If, on the other hand, you've already done your research, you did digging deeper specifically, and you've already got your own articles, then you can skip this entirely and just move on to the annotation activities. So, again, doing research is incredibly important. It's a process that we want to do really well, and we want to get off on the right foot when we're doing research. So, um, unfortunately, by not doing things last semester, you're kind of stuck with the topic that I'm picking for you, which is mental health. And specifically, mental health as it deals with the coronavirus, which includes stress over coronavirus as well as this educational disruption that you've had. And so I've already gone and found three articles that you're going to read and do your annotation with. And these three articles are also going to make up your paper. So I'm giving you quite a bit, but I still want you to go through the motions of here's how I found these things, and you have to do a little bit of work to gather these things for yourself. So again, when I start research with English 2, I'm always going to go to Afton Library first, Afton Schools Library. So I just search for Afton High School Library, and I go to, sorry, wrong thing. I go to the main page of our library, and I'm going to go to opposing viewpoints. And if you're in school, this is no problem. You're already going to log in. But if you're not in school, the passwords, remember, are over here. And so I am going to go to opposing viewpoints. I've actually saved my password over the years, so it logs me in right away. And then we remember that I can browse issues. So this is the process that I went through. I went to browse issues. And then inside of browse issues, I did a couple different things, but I went to mental health. And then I went to magazines. So I want to talk about why I went to magazines as opposed to some of these other ones. Viewpoints are opinions. So I wanted to stay away from anything that was directly an opinion in a research paper. Academic journals, these are probably the best resource, but these are going to be really for college students, kind of dense data. So even though these are the best resources, maybe not the best for high school students. News is just going to be a bunch of, here's what happened today type of stuff. So not really great for an analysis paper or a paper where we're breaking a topic down. So I settled on magazine articles because these are going to be, slightly longer pieces than news articles, but they're going to be a synthesis, a coming together of news articles and academic resources. And so from here, I did a couple different things. You can see I eventually kind of settled on a content level to make sure to give you something that wasn't a high Lexile score, even though a couple of them are. And then I went ahead and searched, and I looked specifically for COVID. And I'll just tell you I avoided anything that added suicide just because I wanted to be a little sensitive to people who are sensitive to suicide issues. So this is one that I picked, teaching students with interrupted formal education. This is all of you right now, so this should be a high interest level for you. And if I wanted to just do an advanced search for those, I could search for the title or for the author, right? And so I want to redirect you. When you go to do this, I just want you to go and search for the title or the author. But this is the process I use to get us here. Once I'm here, now I'm going to use Google Drive, right? I'm going to send it to my drive. We'll find that in a minute. I can also download it. I can also email it to myself, but if you're signed in, sending it to Drive is super easy. I'm also going to have my proper citation. So these are the things that I asked you for when we filled out those note sheets. I'll give you a couple blank note sheets. So one of the things you're doing is giving me proper citation. The other thing is you're having a hard copy. I'm going to show you why that hard copy is so important in a minute here. Okay. So now I am just going to close all this out so I don't have all this extra stuff on me. I'm going to go to my drive. It's already created a folder for me, right? Called Gale in Context. I've color coded this already in the past. And we're going to find that document. Teaching students with interrupted formal education. I'm going to move this. So actually, let me remind you of a few things while I'm moving this. Sorry for the slight delay here. So remember, I have an English 2 folder. This folder should be shared with me, should be shared with Mr. Kozak. If it was already shared with Ms. Cartier, then you got to share it with me this semester. I'm filling up this folder with all the work I'm doing in English. And I can put this directly into Canvas, right? And since it's shared with me as your teacher, you don't have to unlock stuff or give me special permissions if it's already in there. We've made an inquiry folder. Again, if you didn't make an inquiry folder, you need to make a folder called inquiry folder. And what I'm really doing here is just part 5, which is the connected research. So what am I going to put in here? I'm going to go back to this article. I'm going to move it. See, I'm going to go to that English 2 folder. Move it into the inquiry folder, into that 5th folder. You might not have all 5 of these folders. That's fine. It can be in the inquiry folder. But I'm just going to move it so that now it's in a clean location, easy for me to find. So there it is. And then if you remember, we had these little note sheets. Oh, I'm sorry. We had these little note sheets where I put, here's my citation information, etc., etc. And so you want to probably fill out this note sheet as well. When we write our paper, the citation is going to be important. So remember, I have the citation up here. What's the main idea of the article? What are 2 supporting details? That's all I'm asking you to do. What's the author's point of view? So really answering 3 questions. That's what I want to do, and that's going to set me up for annotation.